Lafayette. I'm Philip John Nymark, the founder of the IFA Foundation International, and I'd like to welcome you to another iteration of the weekly Ifascope. For those who are not familiar, or for those who need a bit of a reminder, let me explain something. The weekly Ifascope is presented at no cost to thousands of people a week, and it would be virtually impossible to be delineating the specific events for the coming week that are going to happen in each and every one of their lives. Some are going to, get new jobs. Some are going to lose current jobs. Some are going to, break up with their girlfriend, and others are going to celebrate their, 45th wedding anniversary. Some kids are going to get, sick, and other kids are going to, become valedictorians in their classes. There are thousands and millions of possible alternatives out there, all of which will happen to somebody sometime in some place. Now, there's a way of finding that out, by the way, if you would like to get an individual divination. It will examine the events of your life as well as how we respond to them. But this is devoted to just showing people how they must respond to the events, whatever they are. It's not easy, all right, because so many of us have a preconditioned response to how we're going to respond to things. We can get angry, we can get hurt, we can get all kinds of things. And sometimes, once in a great while, it's going to be spot on and correct. But the vast majority of the time, there are far better ways to handle the events and to substantially increase the probability factor of your having a successful week. That's what the Ifascope is about, teaching you how to handle the events, whatever they are, in a manner and in a way that gives you the best opportunity for coming out successfully at the end. So, having said all that, let's take a look at this week's Ifascope. This week, the Ifascope is telling us that on the temporal, everyday side of our life, it is the energy of treating events that are similar to, in some cases exactly alike, to those events of the past in a different way. All right? So perhaps we didn't handle those events well. Perhaps we didn't even know they were going on. Perhaps they were, from when we were in school or whatever. This time when an event occurs and it seems similar to you, pause, think about it, and do not do that which you did before, but do something new, something that will get the results that you're looking for. And on the emotional, spiritual side, it is a strong call for more nurturing on the part of both male and females. What does more nurturing mean? Well, first of all, it means nurture yourself. It means quit beating yourself up over, the reality of what needs to be done or what you think has to be done. But more so, it's about listening and being empathetic to what other people feel, to getting a sense of their place in this world, about their responsibilities, about their hardships, and having a genuine, feeling of commiseration towards what they're going through as well. If we do that this week, things should go well. But, unfortunately, the reading comes off path. It's up here when it needs to be down here. Well, we can push it back down here, and we will. But not until you understand what it is that went wrong. What went wrong here is that the Odu, which called for this reading to be off path, suggests that we're not being honest in some critical fashion. It's all about honesty. We need to have integrity and honesty in what we do. Even if we're protecting somebody or whatever. Now, that doesn't include what I call compulsive truth-telling. Compulsive truth telling is, walking up to somebody on the street and saying, "Gee, what an ugly, jacket," or "Wow, what an ugly dress," or whatever. I mean, that just hurts people's feelings. It doesn't make any sense. But if you're asked, you have to answer, and hopefully you'll answer in a way that will be empathetic, that will, take their feelings into consideration. The likely area of all this is going to be relationships. All right, your relationships are going to suffer, and relationships always suffer from a lack of honesty, from a lack of being open and honest with people, for sometimes sneaking around, sometimes just not wanting to discuss something we're doing because maybe we'll get yelled at, or maybe somebody is going to take it the wrong way. But we have to iron that out in our relationships. Relationships are critical to all of us, and in order to be honest and meaningful, they have to work it out. You have to have that kind of communication which allows you, to reach a middle ground, to reach an understanding with whoever it is that we're dealing with, so that when you proceed to do something, you'll be all right. And the best energies, of course, for this are, one, the temporal side, introspection. Think more about it. That's the old Taylor saw, measure twice, cut once. And then decide what's going on. And in our emotional, spiritual side, it's a strong, strong plea to our ancestors to give us the information and the wisdom necessary in our emotional and spiritual life to go forward. So, that's it in a nutshell. And this week, that nutshell is going to be taken here and put here by an offering to our ancestors. Pray to your ancestors, say each name 3 times. You can have pictures of them up, and then give them whatever it is you feel like giving. They're your ancestors. You know what they like. Some will like liquor, some oppose liquor, some will, like honey, etc. Give them that which you feel is correct inside, and then watch how well the week can work out. Until next week, love and blessings.